grading in coding rooms, and how do you return a submission to a student for them to rework on it, stuff like that. So let's absolutely do that. Let me add a multiple choice question to this page, do a couple things, and I can go over to the student to do that, some of that stuff. So here is the teacher. I'm going to add a multiple choice question. Okay, and correct answer is going to be B. This is a horrible multiple choice question, but I think everyone gets the idea. So we have something like that, and then we have some code over here. Let's make this ID have a test case. Excuse me. And it's going to check that the output is hello. All right. This is what the students get. We check for those things. 1 point, 1 point. Over here in the lightning grader, you can see these two empty blocks. These represent every block. These are our performance indicator bars, we call them. These represent each graded block on the page. So every block that's worth points will show up over here. They'll light up orange when a student's working on that assignment or that particular interactive block. They light up green when the student gets it correct, and they light up red when the student gets it incorrect. So that's a way for you to watch the students kind of progress and kind of get a quick view of where they're at. We'll try to keep an eye on that while I'm over here as the student. Here I am as the student. I'm going to answer some questions. I get A. All right, I got that wrong. I run over here. I get this wrong. Now let's get this question right. Multiple choice right. I got the multiple choice right. But I'm going to say, hello, Joe, which it's checking to see if my output just says hello. So that's going to be wrong. All right, so I got 1 out of 2 points as a student. I can see over here in the lightning grader, I got 1 thing correct, 1 thing wrong. I got 1 point over here. I'm going to submit it. I submit it. You can see this gray check mark right here. This gray check mark indicates the student has submitted. Before it was just a little dash. So when you see the gray check marks, that means submitted. We have another icon that can show there, which is a green check mark with a circle around it. That means you've reviewed the assignment. So you can mark it as reviewed. All right, so now it's submitted. Click over here. I can see the students work live. Just gonna give myself a little more screen real estate. I can see the students work live. I can come over here. I can edit the student score. If I think I don't want them to have answer over here, I can edit it. I can give them 12 points instead. Anytime you manually grade something, it's gonna show that. So you've manually overridden this particular grade. You can dismiss the manual override. It will rerun the auto grader and run it correctly. So we ran the auto grader for this. Based on that, it redid that, and it will recalculate everything. This score can take a second sometimes to sync back up. When so let's say we come over here, we say, all right, yeah, look, it's just supposed to print hello. I can come over here. I can say to the student, please redo this. Code should output only hello. Okay. Now I can save this, and it will save all the work that I've done. I can return it for revision. If I check off this reviewed checkbox, it will kind of check off my list of that I've reviewed this submission. Let's just return this for revision to the student. As soon as it's returned for revision, it unsubmits it for the student. So notice now I can submit for the student because it's not in a submitted state. It tells the student, you can see it automatically appeared while the student, I still have the page open, returned for revision, and it says the time that the teacher returned it. If you save your feedback also, it's going to give the student that feedback. I've saved my feedback. Notice this little bubble appears at the top. That's the feedback that the student gets. So the student should look for that feedback. We're looking for more ways to make it more obvious to throw it into the student's face more about the feedback. But any feedback you leave, they'll see that bubble at the top and they can see the feedback that you had. Definitely a habit, I would say, a best practice is to, tell students, if you see something's returned for revision, make sure you click the feedback bubble up at the top. We do have some other ways we're working on releasing in the next week a full chat functionality that's going to be like threaded comments and things that you can give to students. We're going to be tying in the feedback system and some other things into that eventually. It should make for some really rich feedback, and you can actually have back and forth with the student in there. So we're hoping to enrich that experience as the months kind of go on. But you can see that that's like that here, and the student can work on the page again, make their revisions. If you do review it, so let me just exit the Lightning Grader quick. You can see it's no longer shows it's submitted, no longer has a little check mark here, stuff like that. So all that stuff goes on still. If I was to review it, which I always say to recommend, that's like when you're done with it. You're saying, I'm done. It's in a final state. You want it kind of off your to-do list. That's when you click this review, save that, and then that's when you should get a green check with a circle. Then on your teacher overview, it won't show up as an assignment you need to review, all that kind of stuff. And that's how you keep track of whose did I look at and give grade to and give feedback to, who didn't I? Then you'll see it all the way down if you have green checks or not.